And welcome to part two of episode 44, 84 Feet with Cady and Cap. I'm Brian Cady. My usual co-host Brian Capitula still on a bit of sabbatical right now. But we keep rolling along. We heard from Jeff Mulliner yesterday, as now this is Tuesday, February 11th, and had some interesting results come in from last night, which I'm sure Jeff and I will pour over when we revisit everything next week. But right now, a pair of guests that I've been interested in having on for a little while. Took me a bit to get around to having this come together, but I'm glad we were able to get it done before we reach the official end of the regular season. We are 9 days out from sectional seeding being released. And this is a team that Jeff and I both believe deserve appropriate praise in the Class AA. And that would be the Spartans of Queensbury. And we are being joined by, right now, the head coach of the Spartans, Megan Bethel, and Shea 1K, Shea Canavan. Ladies, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Very good. Thanks, Brian, for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely, not a problem. First things first, since I did the Shea 1K thing, I might as well just get that out of the way. Obviously, senior year, there's always going to be some kind of emotions wrapped up into that, but then there's the reaching 1,000 career points. You're now the program and single season leader in 3-point shooting in Queensbury history. No big deal, just check after check after check. I mean, is this all stuff you had thought about at any point in advance, or just one of those things where you walk into the game and they're just like, oh, by the way, you've done this now? Is it, or what's it been like for you so far this year with all that stuff?
It's been crazy. I feel like I don't know. I feel so like joy right now. Accomplishing all that stuff and just being a part of the team has just definitely been the main thing right now. And it feels amazing.
Now, Coach, obviously, this is a squad that garnered quite the reputation in Class A. This is now year two of being in Double A due to the addition of the AAA classification and the reconfiguring of enrollment blocks, so to speak, that go behind the mathematics of who goes in what class. All in all, how do you feel that transition has been? Has there been any noticeable difference for you as far as that's concerned? Obviously, aside from sectionals, you're not seeing the same teams as you would have in the past necessarily. But how has that transition been, in your opinion, thus far?
I think regular season, we just try to, go out and try to get some of those suburban non-league games a little bit just to kind of get a little prepared for sectionals. But, with the new classification, it's a whole nother animal now with the double A's, and you're getting half of your suburban teams down, playing some foothills and colonial teams. So it's a challenge for sure.
All right, we'll dive a little more into the season in a little bit, but now I just want to get in a little bit of a background stuff. Shea, with you first. Obviously you've been known for your wide array of talents in basketball, and you've also played soccer during the course of your high school career. Aside from those two, were there any other? Were you kind of a kid that just saw everything, tried everything, or was it always just a focus on one or two sports the whole time?
I feel like I kind of tried everything. I remember doing gymnastics when I was little, and I don't know, that was a phase. But I feel like I'm the odd one in my family because like I'm the only one that really does a running sport, I would say, because my dad did wrestling and my mom, I think, did 1 year of softball. But I don't know where I get it from, kind of thing. But yeah, I feel like after I played basketball, I just fell in love with it, and I just started there, and yeah, here I am.
Can you still do any of those tumbles or cartwheels or anything like that, or
No,
Is a celebration at all?
not really. Maybe in soccer, maybe a little bit in goalie. Maybe I do some cartwheels, maybe. But
I'd pay to see a cartwheel.
Yeah, cartwheel. Yeah. I think the court is a little hard. I don't know if I can do that.
Well, we'll just have cheerleaders pull out the mats for you.
Yes.
Part of the halftime entertainment. We'll do that.
Yes, I'll do both. I'll play and then halftime cheerlead right there.
And what is it with basketball players and being goalies? By the way, when I coached AAU back in the day, I had a player that was a lacrosse goalie. I think Kate Galuli LaSalle was a soccer goalie as well. Is it? What's the deal? What is there like a mentality that goes into it for the basketball players want to be goalies, or is it just a coincidence that some of them tend to be goalies?
I think it's just the hand-eye coordination. I feel like my soccer coach was just like looking for people that have good hand-eye coordination, and I was like, sure, I could.
Shea's got some pretty good-sized mitts too, and she's got very good reflexes, so it's a good spot for her.
Always good to have big, soft hands when you're in soccer or in basketball. Coach, let's turn to you quick because you have, your history bleeds right through Section 2. I remember correctly, you were Burnt Hills Boston Lake graduate, correct?
That is correct.
And you did okay for yourself in amateur athletics. Talk a little bit about your background when you were growing up in the Burnt Hills area and how things turned out for you in your athletics run.
Growing up in Burnt Hills was fantastic. It was one of my best times, very memorable. Played 3 sports with soccer, basketball, and softball. Had a couple of trips to the States, once for soccer and once for basketball. And it's, I've had great coaches along the way as well, which has kind of, fostered the growth in, kind of getting into the sport and, trying to be a leader amongst young female athletes.
This brings me to actually an interesting question I didn't even think of till just now, because you just mentioned you were a 3-sport athlete in high school. Shea, we obviously just covered how you were a 2-sport athlete until this year, which we'll get into later. And you tried gymnastics. From a coaching perspective, being able to look at it now from the viewpoint of an adult, there's always this conversation about specialization versus just letting your kids do what they want to do. And if they want to play 3 sports, fine, let them play 3 sports. Do you have any personal belief in either way of that? Or is it just kind of one of those things where you just kind of let the kid figure it out themselves and what they want to do?
I'm a big proponent of playing 3 sports. I feel like, especially our kids, a lot of them play soccer, basketball, and lacrosse, and a lot of those kind of intertwine with each other. You'll learn a lot about spacing, communication, and I feel like playing as many as possible and not specializing in one thing, you're less likely to get burnt out in that one sport.
Part of me feels like if basketball was a spring sport, a lot of basketball players would want to play hockey. I feel like there's just a weird pent-up aggression that people would want to take out and just slam
somebody against the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Shea, you spent time in AAU, obviously, with the Cap City Scrappers, and I got to go through, just a handful of the teammates that you had, particularly recently. Jessica Bowens at Boston Spa, who I believe, I want to say she's committed to Hartwick, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yep. Mia Corzini at Albany High, Amani Porter, who's now at Storm King, that prep school down near West Point. And I want to say Gianna Savoca, I believe, was also a teammate of yours from Holy Names.
Yes.
And she's currently undecided. That's a whole story and a half that I don't have time to go over in this program. But what was it like being able to have that kind of talented group, especially having it all be Section 2 girls that you're, and being able to form bonds with those girls on the road like that?
I love it so much. I think it's so fun just going to a different place in the state, and you just play different teams that are crazy good, and you get beat, and then you're like, oh shoot, this is the next level. But I love my teammates. All my teammates were so good and so competitive, and it's definitely definitely a change, I feel like, because it's basically all the best players come together on that one team for AAU, and it's definitely way different than what you expect from Foothills. And I feel like I've actually played with a lot of them before, like years past. And I feel like we all had that connection of like, we knew where that person was going to be, and then she was going to make it. I knew she was going to make it, the shot and the pass and stuff. So it was definitely amazing. I love.
And your role's a little different on AAU, right?
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
As opposed to high school, where you're kind of taking on the role of everything.
Yes.
When Coach just wanted to get into your background a little bit more, we mentioned how you went through Burnt Hills. What was the road like for you that ultimately got you to be at Queensbury as a teacher, which you can also touch on if you want, and also being head coach for the girls program?
Let's see. I went to Quinnipiac. I was a walk-on there when they were D2. And then I ended up getting a teaching job down in Stamford, Connecticut. And I was in a middle school teaching 6th and 7th grade science. And I kind of started coaching their modified teams, which was fun. And then I did a youth, I think it was a 5th grade, 4th grade team from a neighboring town that was, it's kind of like the Capital District Youth Basketball League. It was kind of like that with the younger kids. I got involved in that. And then I ended up moving back home and getting a job at Queensbury. And when I first started here, I was coaching what we had then was a freshman team. And then they had an opening for varsity. And then I jumped on board with, our JV coach, Lauren Serber. And that's it. That's the trail.
How long, forgive me for not knowing this off the top of my head. How long have you been serving as the head coach now at Queensbury? I
think this is our 14th year.
Okay. All right.
But we didn't play during COVID.
How, I got to ask this just as somebody who was a student that hated science.
Yep.
Why science? Like, why, of all things, of all the things you could pick to teach, excuse me, why?
I loved it. I was that math science nerd. So I just kept going with it.
See, as a math guy, people get shocked when I say I loathed and dreaded science classes. But yeah, math and history was my thing. So I don't know. Science just, I think the only science that I really drew myself to was physics. But again, physics is pretty much all math based.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Me and dissecting frogs, we didn't agree. Shea, if you've ever had an issue with the science class, did you just run to coach about it the last few years, or?
She was my science teacher, so
that's perfect. That's perfect. All right. So
Yep.
that'd be a nice and easy. You had a built-in, not a tutor necessarily, but a built-in sounding board if you didn't like anything. You just go right to her.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfect. Yeah. Now as far as I've been kind of tiptoeing around it, but. Things came to a little bit of a drastic halt for you late spring, early summer, Shea, in that you suffered an injury during your time playing your final AAU season that ultimately had you sit out the entirety of what would have been your senior season for soccer. Just talk a little bit about the injury, if you know the story behind how it happened, and just what that whole process was like, getting the surgery, going through rehab, and just getting yourself back to where you wanted to be for this season.
So it started, it was like a normal AAU game, and there was this girl going up for a layup, and I, of course, try to block it, and I block it, but my shoulder just comes out, and then at first I'm like, it hurt. We went to urgent care, and they're like, I think you need an MRI. I didn't take the MRI soon. I think I waited a couple weeks until like a couple more games, and then it kept happening. And then I got an MRI. They were like, you have torn labrum. And then they said I needed surgery. And I feel like after that, I lost it. Very heartbroken after that.
Thinking that you were going to miss your entire basketball season.
Yes, thinking I was going to miss everything because one of the doctors said that it was going to be like 6 months, and that would have been basically all of basketball and soccer. And then I meet the surgeon, and he's like, we're going to do the surgery, and we're going to be all good. And I get the surgery done. And I get right into PT. They were saying take it. They were like take it easy, and I was like, I don't know if I can take it easy. I'm not that person. But I tried to. Definitely, I want to thank all the PT people for that. I definitely was a pain for not sticking to some stuff, but yeah, missing soccer was the hardest right now. I was the only goalie, and so it was really hard, I think, for not only my team but definitely myself, putting all that pressure and on myself of not being able to play. But then when my surgeon was like, I think you're good for basketball. I called coach right in the doctor's office. I was like, I'm going to be able to play basketball. And she was very excited.
Sure was.
And then
not just back in record time.
Yes, I know. That was crazy. I was very thankful for the surgeon. He did very good. And then, basketball started, and I was like, let me get back into it. Done waiting now.
All right. I do have a few follow-up questions just to kind of
that's a
connect the dots a little bit. I know it's a lot. I mean, I could tell you were getting a little emotional there telling the story, so I understand. All right. So rough timetable. How long are we talking from the initial injury happening? Like roughly, was that like June, May, right in that area?
Of when I injured it?
Like the initial injury that happened.
Initial injury? I think it was
June because we had summer league and you were wearing a brace.
Yeah, I think it was June was when I first.
Or July.
Yeah, either June or July was when I first hurt it. Yeah, and then I had surgery in September. So yeah.
Because I remember correctly, I think you were. If I remember correctly, this must have been after Gym Rat, because I want to say Gym Rat, you were listed as an honorable mention from the recruiting index out of that. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I played in that one. I don't think I injured myself. I think it was at the Impact Center was when I first injured it.
So when the initial injury happened, was it one of those things where part of you was like, oh, I'd probably just pop my shoulder out and it'll be fine? Is that what the initial? That's I can see you shaking your head.
Yeah.
Is that what you thought was? It was just, oh, I'll be fine. Just popped it out of the socket. It'll be good.
No, I hurt for what, a second? No, I'm good. I can just get me back in there. That was, I didn't think anything of it.
Was there anything specific that happened that caused you to follow through and get that MRI? Was it just one of those things where it was just a culmination of feeling limited doing certain things over the next few weeks where you were just like, okay, all right, I'm getting the signs. I just need to go and get this done.
Yeah. So after the first time, I kept playing because I didn't think anything of it. And in basically all my games, I kept popping out. And I was like, well, I can't do anything about it. So I was like, I think I just got to get it.
Coach, what was your initial, I mean, I can assume what it was, but what was your initial reaction when you got the news about the injury and the surgery and the projected recovery timetable that she was being given?
Initially was probably something I can't say right now, but it was really just trying to calm Shea down because she was so upset that she was, going to miss the season. And I was, I feel like I remember saying, just take one thing at a time, get your date, and then just get into PT and see how things progress along the way. So it was more just kind of, it's okay. Everything will be all right. We'll figure it out along the way and just go from there.
Shea, was there any one specific that helped you keep a level head about things the whole way? Like, obviously, I know you shouted out the PT team that had to deal with your stubbornness, but is there anyone specific that comes to mind? A specific family member, a member of the coaching staff, a teammate that was able to connect with you the most in order to keep you level headed and being patient and just let let things work out the way they got to work out?
Definitely my teammates. I think definitely for soccer because they were definitely all like cheering for me. They got me a gift basket, and of course I started crying or whatever. But definitely my soccer teammates because I feel like they felt my pain because like I feel like they put themselves in my shoes and they definitely could see that I was very hurt for that.
What were the struggles for you initially? Because obviously you get the surgery, you go through PT, follow doctor's orders very loosely in those air quotes. I don't even want to know what you did against doctor's orders. I just can't imagine. You started shooting the first night after surgery. No. What was there? What was that whole? Because I can imagine the emotional roller coaster you're going through the whole time between getting the news, the surgery. You just want to go play, even if you had to have your arm in a full cast. You don't care, whatever. What was it like for you specifically when you were getting ready for basketball season? Like, um, first of all, did you even start the basketball season 100%? And second of all, just overall, how noticeable to you was the progress day to day or week to week for you?
Yeah, I started basketball 100%. The doctor cleared me and everything. I think it was definitely after I think the first 2 weeks because that was when they needed you need a rest, no school for a week and you gotta stay and whatever. I feel after those 2 weeks I feel like I started gaining more like confidence about like how my shoulder feels and then but that's towards like an athlete point. I feel like once you hurt something you're like, oh, I can walk it off. But I feel like right after those 2 weeks was definitely when my confidence hit and I was like I'm feeling I can definitely make it to basketball and that's what pushed me through.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, it wasn't a torn labrum, so not nearly as dramatic. I did the same thing when I was in 8th grade. I suffered a hairline fracture in my ankle during an 8th grade basketball game and purposely hid my limping for 3 weeks because I wanted, because we had a month left in the season and I purposely hid my injury to try and get through it. And then like second to last week of the season, my mother was like, I see you limping. Let's go. So it's a competitor in the best athletes. I understand.
Absolutely.
Were after you get cleared, what was harder for you? Was it the physical side of it? Taking punishment and getting bumped potentially on the shoulder at all? Or was it the mental for you? Or was it kind of both, a share of both?
I think it was a share of both because I feel like knowing it was my shoulder, thank God it wasn't my right shoulder because then that'd be a whole situation about my shooting. But I feel like what got in my mind would be like, what if my shot's off and I can't really make anything? That would definitely was probably the main. But I feel like I feel like I'm so competitive during practice. I feel like the one tryout that I had, I just was like, okay, no one's gonna hurt my shoulder anymore. I don't think.
You were probably doing one-handed form shooting the whole rehab anyway, so whatever.
yeah, with my mini basketball hoop at home, I was jump shots right there.
Coach, and I swear I'll move on to a different topic after this, but it's just the whole to see what the team has been doing. It's just it adds to the whole story. I feel like, was there any point where you thought things were a little too fast at all for Shea, or was it just one of those things where it's like, Shea's gonna Shea. If they say she's ready, they say she's ready. Was it kind of like that?
Yes, pretty much the latter. It's Shea. Shea will do whatever she can to get back on this court. So I trust her PT, trust her parents. So we're in good hands.
Now, coming into the season, Coach, I mean, obviously you have a quintet. Yeah, that's 5. A quintet of seniors on board to help fill out the roster for you. And this was now going to be your second year, in AA, like we mentioned earlier. Was there a certain set of expectations you had coming into the year and thus far, with another week or so of regular season to go before we hit sectionals? Do you feel like the teams exceeded those expectations at all that you had as you went through preseason workouts going into the season?
To be honest, we lost some high-scoring players from last year. So Shea didn't have to do as much as she has to do this year. So that was a big loss for us. So my expectations were not as high, but I knew that we would eventually get there. And these kids have really grown a lot since the beginning. And a lot of it has come from, the defensive end of the court, because they are gritty, they are hardworking. And when they put their minds to it, they can do whatever they want when they want to do it.
Now, the one thing that I noticed with the schedule that I had never really known the story about before was the early season weekend invitational tournament of sorts that you guys did. And because I know that when I first looked at the schedule, I'm like, Walnut Grove, where the hell is Walnut Grove? And I'm just scratching my head. And then Jeff Moliner, God bless him, he's like, they're in Georgia. And I'm like, why does she have a Georgia team? So that being said, Michelle Bennett, she, and I have the background here again, thanks to Jeff, mother of Mackenzie and Grace Ann Bennett, who Mackenzie wanted to play at Keene State, Grace Ann obviously at Georgetown, now playing overseas. And she was on the staff while those two both played at Lake George. And she was actually on your staff when things unfortunately went south with her health and she passed away. Mm-hmm. What was Michelle like to have on the bench, and how did you guys even get to meet and form the bond that you did have, in the time up to her passing?
Lauren and I actually work in the same building as Michelle, so that's how we really got to know her. And then through coaching, because every preseason we would always scrimmage at Lake George when Tefty was there along with Michelle. So we'd always scrimmage when the girls were playing for them as well. So that's kind of how we connected that way, but mostly through school and just talking to Michelle. She's just, it's so hard to describe because she's so worldly in everything that she knows and teaches, and she's very empowering for women to just continue to be strong, as she has raised 2 amazing females in her household. Even her son Cole is he's just the kindest, most respectful kid you could ever meet, and just having that extra voice along with Lauren and myself was it was really like, it was so great for the time that we had her. And all we do now is just, wish that we had more and more time with her. So when she passed, we made a goal, to start a scholarship fund with a couple of other teachers in our building who worked directly with her and were great friends with her. And since then, I think this was year 3. We've raised close to like $22,000 for scholarship funds for Queensbury kids. Wow, and it was so great having Kenzie be able to bring her team up this year. And, her varsity coach Teff, was there as well. So it was just a great, great emotional weekend.
I mean, obviously you were able to keep tabs with Mackenzie with her bringing her team up. Jeff, I know, still coaching over with the girls at Lake George. Class C Adirondack League.
Yeah.
And this was another epiphany moment for me because Jeff, again, they did a weekend event at Adirondack Community College about a month ago. And I was there for the second day, and I'm like, God, why does this guy look so big and familiar? Because again, I've been around the game for about a decade, and I'm still trying to make ends meet as far as putting heads and faces together. He's like, that's Jeff Bennett. I'm like, oh, okay. How close do you remain in contact with the Bennett family, Mackenzie and Jeff and the whole crew? How close do you guys stay together?
I feel like Lauren and I talk to the girls more often than Jeff, just through like Instagram and just having, the common ties with us all going through basketball at the same time and with Kenzie coaching. So it's kind of like we kind of relive it all together.
Now, Shea, I remember asking Coach a little while ago about the expectations she had coming in and the scores that you lost and everything. How about for you? And you can tie this back into the injury or whatever, and however you want to take this, or you can take this as a team-oriented question. What were your expectations coming in? Because obviously we talked about all the milestones you've gotten, this, that, and the other thing. But what were your own expectations coming in for yourself and for the team as more or less the person that everybody on the roster was looking at as, okay, you go, you go take the lead.
I feel like it was definitely a hard one after losing basically our scorers and our rebounders. But I feel like I knew I kind of needed to step it up on my part. Not only as as a defender, but as an offender, and I might have to score more. But as a team, I feel like for me, I always wanted to win Foothills, and that was my goal for every year for 4 years. And I feel like that's what I wanted our team to do, and we got really close to it this year. But
that was a goal Shea wrote down freshman year, to win Foothills for 4 years.
I might as well mix and match the questions now at this point because my mind's all over the place. So last night, I know I can already tell you don't want me to bring this up, Shea. I'm sorry. You earned the home and home split against Broad and Perth, which, like I said on the show yesterday with Jeff, if the team, I feel like if you guys were playing then like you played the last 2 months, you sweep the series. But I'm sure you both are in agreement on that one. But either way, you end up dropping that one last night after, what was it, 14 in a row, I think it was? Yeah, 14 in a row. Without even thinking about last night, was that streak lingering in the back of the minds of anyone at all recently? Or was there anybody reminding you about it or keeping tabs on it? Or
had no idea we had it.
Yeah, I didn't know that many.
Not even a newspaper writer coming up and accidentally being like, "Hey, by the way, you." Okay.
No.
Wow. Newspaper writers wow, that's shocking. But anyways, what was is there any kind of breakdown? I guess I'll go with Coach on this one. About what happened last night. Just in general, was what went down in that Glens Falls game last night?
I think in general, it would just be, overall, we weren't playing the intensity that we needed to beat Glens Falls. They were, senior night, high energy. Obviously, it's a rivalry. We want to get each other every year, and they were the team that came out on top last night.
Oh, those pesky senior night games.
Yeah, I get you.
That's funny because Jeff says there's 2 anomalies in regular season scheduling: 1,000-point games and senior nights. I guess so. Didn't even think about that. Okay. All in all, though, let's look at this squad, though. 5 seniors, including you, Shea. What's this class meant to you with your 4 teammates, and even expand this into soccer as well? Like, what has being part of the class of 2025 meant to you with the relationships you formed, the bonds you formed, and the friends, the teachers, the administration? What has this meant for you as a Queensbury Spartan?
It means everything to me. I feel like if I didn't have any of the connections I would have had like on the team, I feel like I definitely would not have gotten this far at all. Yeah, I just like they're the people that bring me to the top. That's like of my goals and expectations, and that's what drives me. They push me, and I'm so grateful for them.
They're also very supportive of Shea too, and they want to see her, be at her best, as well as Shea wants to see her teammates be their best as well. So it's kind of like a nice little relationship that, all those kids have on the team with each other.
You mentioned the relationship. Shea might be embarrassed that I'm asking this question and I'm singling her out in this case, but
oh boy,
she's sitting next to you, Coach. What has she meant to you and the program all in all through her career there at Queensbury?
Oh, we talk about this all the time to all of our younger players. Like, this is who you want to be. This is like number one teammate, because she's not, yes, she is like a huge offensive threat, but she's the type of kid that plays both ends of the court. She doesn't just stop on the offensive end, give me the ball. She is the most team-oriented player that I think that we've had in a very long time. And that's, kudos to her, kudos to her parents for raising such a great kid. But she shows up every night. And like I said, she wants everybody to do well on the team. She will do whatever she has to do to win, whether it's throwing an assist, getting a defensive stop, scoring a 3. It doesn't matter what it is. She's going to find a way to do it.
I have to ask this, Shea, because I mentioned Gianna Savoca being very mysterious about her college decision. You, my friend, I know of at least 2 offers you have, or at least 2 schools you're considering, so to speak. I know SUNY Niagara has been talking to you. I know Emmanuel College has been talking to you. I'm not asking you to do like an ESPN exclusive and pull out a hat for somebody right now. I'm not saying that. Is this something that you've like the process has just worked itself out the way it has, and it just is what it is that you haven't made a decision yet? Or is this something that you've purposely kind of, decided, let me get through the season and then I'll revisit this decision in March?
I think it was, I feel like I was just going to wait for this season to be over and then figure everything out, because after the surgery, I was debating if I wanted to play or not in college, because of like if I was going to get hurt again, or like if I was just not going to like be at my top for basketball. But I'm definitely waiting out to see which one I like best.
Now that you mentioned the injury, I don't want you to necessarily name any of the bad people that might have done this, but did your injury ruin any potential inquiries that you had beforehand?
I don't think so. Like I said, I played it out most of the AAU tournaments, so I hopefully coaches saw me when I was playing, but then they also saw me when I got hurt as well. So they might have looked away, but I don't think that really impacted that.
I'm just asking. The only reason I asked, just to give background, is because Ellie Surf from Bethlehem, when she tore ACL during her AAU season, following her junior year at Bethlehem, that was a big issue for her. Was a lot of potential offers, inquiries that she did have, they just disappeared all of a sudden, and that's a whole story and a half for another show. But that's why I ask. It's just out of curiosity. 2 investigative questions for Coach here.
Oh boy.
Number one, you are a BHBL graduate.
Yep.
Was there any tugging in that direction when the job opened up 2 years ago? Or was it never even a thought?
No, just find me a job.
Okay. All right. Just thought I'd throw it out there. The second thing, because I have to ask this. Because anytime I see Queensbury come up on a screen or my phone, or I see you guys walk in a gym, it's one of the very first things I think of. And you might know where I'm going with this. Where did the clapping during free throws come from?
I think this was, I'm going to try to remember the year. I feel like it was maybe 2019 with that group of kids. I feel like we were at Hudson Falls, and you know how it is with high school basketball. Usually it's dead silent, at least in the girls' game, dead silent. So that's how it was for one of our kids shooting a free throw. And someone in the stands just yelled out Tigers or something. And it was so loud, and our kid bricked it. I was like, forget it. Next practice, I said, we're just going to clap the entire time. We're going to make as much noise as we possibly can. Almost taking like the Happy Gilmore route.
And that's obviously now become a regular tradition for the squads.
Yep.
And all due respect, I don't know who it was, but there's another program I saw doing it recently, and I was like, I think that's copyrighted to Queensbury. I don't know about that. And it's somebody from up in that area. I'm not exactly sure.
I think it's Corinne.
That's exactly who I was about to guess. I think it is Corinne.
Coach Crossman works here. He told me about it. So he
was okay. All right. As long as he got copywritten permission.
Yep.
All right. Well, just want to make sure he's not breaking any licensing agreements here. That's good. I'm trying to think if I have anything else. I'll let both of you reply to this before I get into the ultimate closing segment of questions. Like I mentioned, we're 9 days away from seeding for sectionals. And obviously a lot of the talk around AA has been Catholic Central this, Columbia that, blah, 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 blah. And that's all well and good. Catholic Central's defending, but reigning Class A state champs. They brought pretty much everyone back. Okay. Columbia, they've seemed to figure things out this year with Landy and Weemet and Rainville. Great. Okay. I mean, can we put some respect on the Queensbury name here? Like, and I'm not just saying this because you're on the show. This is legitimately a conversation I've had for like a month now. I'm like, y'all not paying attention to what's going on north of Clifton Park? Like, what are we doing here? Like, I'm just saying. I mean, I feel like the Queensbury name isn't being brought up enough. Is there any kind of like sudden chip building on the shoulder here for you guys, or is it just kind of like hey, whatever, we're used to this stuff?
I think more along the lines we're kind of used to it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it's like if we play at our best, maybe we can surprise some teams.
Well, you ain't gonna surprise me. I'm just gonna put that.
Thank you, appreciate that.
I'm looking forward to Hudson Valley. I'm just gonna say that right now.
You like it?
All right, so I like to call this little ending to interviews life's most important questions. Like I mentioned the pre-interview, these are by no means life's most important questions. The quick hitters, mostly one-worded answers, literally whatever pops to your head first.
Oh boy.
We'll get Shea's answers first to each for the questions, and then we'll get coaches, then we'll keep going. All right.
Okay.
All right. The opening question: are we team iPhone or team Android?
iPhone.
Do the green bubbles freak you out at all? Like you question if they're really a human being at all?
No.
I still do. I don't know. Especially as somebody that was a Droid guy and is now an iPhone guy. Like I don't know. Did you guys watch the Kendrick Lamar halftime show? That's controversial to the view of some people. And what's your 1 to 10 rating for it?
I thought it was good. I'll give it maybe 7 or 8.
I heard it. I was in the background. This is my age right now. So had some good beats. My head was bopping. So, maybe I'll give it a 5.
Okay. All right. Brings me a follow-up question here, Coach. By the way, that was off the top of my dome. I do not have that question written down about the halftime show. It's topical. If you had a certain act that you'd like to see do the halftime show, Coach, anybody specific come to mind for you?
Can I bring him back from the dead?
How about one dead, one alive? Let's go with that.
All right. How about Michael Jackson?
Oh, well, I mean,
Right?
he did halftime show 30 years ago. Of course, nobody would say no to that.
That's an entertainer right there.
I mean, isn't that what, was it holograms? Didn't they have a hologram of him at one point for concerts or something?
I feel like that was recently.
Yeah, like there's been a hologram of him. There's been a hologram of Tupac. Like,
yes.
Weird.
I think you're right.
All right. Current artist.
Good one. I don't know. I'm not sure.
What genre are we thinking? Like pretty much anything, or is there country, pop, rock? Like what's your taste like?
I'm really all over the place. I mean, the rap now, I'm not really a fan. Hip hop I'll take. I mean, throw Eminem out there anytime you want.
Oh,
I'll be a big fan of that. I don't know if he's done one yet.
I think you're right.
I think so.
No?
All right. All right. Roger Goodell, we got to get you on that. Eminem for Super Bowl 60. Yeah, let's do it. All right. I could roll with that. Energy drinks. I have to bring this up. Gatorade, Powerade, Celsius. Somebody has said Alani recently. Where do we put our loyalties, Shea?
I'm not a big fan. I like water. I'm not a big fan of energy drinks. I feel
high
like
quality H2O.
Okay. I mean, I've tried them. I mean, but I feel like they don't do anything to me. I feel like water is definitely
you're just naturally just ready to go.
Yeah. Maybe some coffee, maybe, but I feel like
you're coffee. Okay. Coach, coffee.
Yeah, I got a ditto Shea on that one.
All right, Dunkin' or Starbucks?
I'm a Dunkin'. You're a young one. You're Starbucks. Let's be honest.
Well, only if I have money that day. If I have money, then Starbucks because they're expensive. But Dunkin' would probably be.
It comes down to the current income of Shea.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Can't blame you on that one. The Starbucks is ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right. So, Coach, you and me can bond a little bit on this. Coffee. Is there like hot, iced, latte, cold brew? Is there a specific go-to order for you?
I would definitely do a hot latte in the winter. I like a flavor though. Like it's Christmas time, I'll do my peppermint mocha.
Okay. All right.
I do like the vanilla latte.
Pumpkin.
Oh, pumpkin. Yep, I'll do that. Any kind of flavor. But in the summer, I love a cold brew.
See, I'm a weirdo. I like cold 12 months out of the year, so
can't do it.
Iced coffee or cold brew is right in my alley. So
yeah, I'm loving the cold brew.
I'm a cold brew, caramel swirl, mocha swirl, and cream.
Wow.
Kind of like a weird, like, I don't know. It kind of tastes like an ice cream sundae away from me. I don't know, but all right. This is kind of more geared towards Shea, but I don't know. Maybe Coach will like this one too. Favorite cheat meal?
Cheat meal?
Or is it like a favorite like fast food spot that you shouldn't have, but like every once in a while you're like, all right.
Probably McDonald's. That's probably if I have like a game, if I'm out far, maybe McDonald's definitely. Yeah, so like those fries. You gotta get the fries.
I would go with pizza.
That's good. Like that.
It's not my cheat. I feel like I have that.
I know it's true.
I don't. I'm in Amsterdam. I don't get out to Queensbury much. I'm sorry. Is there a local spot that hits just right with their pizza, or is it just kind of a coin flip?
I think Crave. I feel like I get Crave all the time.
I don't even know where that is.
It's like, I don't even know. It's like a plaza, something plaza, but
Queensbury, what, like Aviation Mall or something like that, or is it like a strip mall?
It's close to Aviation Mall. It's like up the road, but it's like by some weird plaza. I don't know. It's low key sketchy, but it's good pizza. It's good.
Low key sketchy. That's good sell point for that. That's good. Well, real good. Obviously, Queensbury sketchy is a much different interpretation than probably Amsterdam or Albany sketchy, but whatever. All right. The aux cord. Well, first off, is there music usually played during practice?
No.
Okay. All right. So let's say a road trip. Let's say, all right, we'll stick with the not enough credit here. Let's say you're driving to your sub-regional game in a month. You're on the road trip. Who's the person you would absolutely not trust with running the aux cord?
Me.
Shea likes a wide variety of music, and I feel like her peers are not a big fan. So when she throws in Earth, Wind, and Fire, they're like, Shea!
What is wrong with Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Exactly.
Do you remember?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, come on. So the whole Let's Groove thing that's going on TikTok right now, like they're probably down with that. But when it comes to their actual music, they're like, no, don't put that on. Like,
Yeah,
really?
no. I go, I have a music, and they're like, nah, we're good. Don't give them the phone. But yeah,
I'm embarrassed for your teammates. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry.
I feel the same way.
I think I'll start sitting with coaches and
You
start
should.
jamming out there.
What to say? No wonder y'all like each other so much. Y'all are just like in sync here. This is good. This is good.
Shea was born at the wrong time. He's an old soul.
Old soul. Yep. Okay. All right.
Born in the 80s. Crazy.
Well, this is good. Coach, you might have to dig a little bit into your bag on this one back in your playing days.
Okay.
If there a certain skill that a teammate or even an opponent you've played has, if you could steal that skill from them and make it yours, what would it be?
Ooh, I would take Shea's quick hands on stealing the ball when someone's going up for a layup. I would take that in a heartbeat. It is so impressive.
Okay. You got one, Shea, at all?
Probably Cerber's height, definitely.
That'd be nice.
If I could
How
be
tall?
taller.
How tall?
Is it 5'10"? 5'9", 5'10"?
Yeah,
Maybe
something
5'10".
like that. We'll give her 5'11".
Just always add 2 inches, I guess. I'm not sure if you want to say last night's opponent or not, because you called it a rivalry earlier, but favorite opponent to play.
I feel like we have a lot of rivalries now, so
Yeah.
it's on you.
I think Broad Albin. I don't know.
As of late.
Yeah, I feel like we've always had that rivalry. I played with three of them in AAU, and we're definitely friends. But I feel like once we get the court, we're not friends anymore. I don't think.
I was about to say, didn't the Perry sisters play for Scrappers?
Yes, and Molly Russum too. Nope.
Coach's daughter. We don't talk about that. Kidding. Molly, it's okay. I'm in a weird spot with you saying Broad Albin, though, because I live in Amsterdam. I've announced games for Amsterdam. But I have family that has kids going through Broad Albin. So when it's Amsterdam, Broad Albin, I'm like, go Amsterdam. So I'll just come out and say it, because I don't have a family member on the current BP team. You pour it on as much as you want. Go for it. Next year, though, coach might be a different story, because I think I'm going to have a niece playing on varsity. But for now, you do you, Shea. You do you.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, last question. This one's a little bit of a thinker. It's the only thinker I really have on here. Let's say you're hypothetically on a deserted island. You have to pick 2 people to help you get off that island and back to civilization.
Oh.
Who are you picking? Preferably people you know.
I would take my dad for one.
Okay.
Just because he can find himself out of the woods, no problem. So I'm hoping he can find himself out of a deserted island. And good survival techniques. I should add that too.
Okay.
I think I would say my mom because she's a travel agent. So maybe she'll find
that's
me
good.
a plane, hopefully, maybe.
Now I know who to book my next vacation through. Okay, good.
Yeah, yep. No, anything else?
That's all I can think of now. It's just my dad.
If you're stuck on a second one too, that's fine, Shea. No biggie.
I don't know. I'm kind of thinking of music right now. Still,
Right.
maybe I'll bring you some like Whitney Houston on the island. She can start singing for us.
No, it's funny because I actually was listening to a Whitney Houston song in the car today, and I was like, man, Whitney and Michael, that would have been interesting because there was a Michael song like 2 or 3 before that. I'm like, I wonder if they ever did a project together because I don't remember them ever doing anything together.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the time era it should have happened.
Friends, right?
Yeah, I don't think they did either.
Mm-hmm. Both of them at a halftime show.
Oh,
that'd be
man.
crazy.
Maybe Janet was jealous of Whitney and said no. I don't know. Putting out weird conspiracy theories at the end of this show. I don't know why. Yeah, that's all I've got. Megan Bethel, Shea Canavan, head coach and one of the 5 seniors for Queensbury, the Spartans out of AA and the Foothills. Ladies, I definitely appreciate your time this afternoon, so I thank you for that. Especially considering it's the end of the regular season, schedules can be a little crazy, so it's all good. I definitely appreciate that, and definitely good luck the rest of the way. And not trying to jinx it, I have a wood desk here. See you in Hudson Valley in about a month.
Oh, thanks, Bri. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely, not a problem. Megan Bethel, Shea Canavan from Queensbury High School. I still don't understand how she can teach science. I'm sorry, I can't get past that, but well, whatever. Yeah, it's like I mentioned, Shea getting 1K. It's been a crazy week or two for milestones because she got 1,000. Mackenzie Sherburne from Cairo Durham. Dior Dobert from Catholic Central. Mackenzie Johnson from Hartford. Mia Carmody from Voorheesville. All got to 1,000 points. And then we got Steve Giglio getting to 300 wins a week or two ago for Holy Names. Decky Lawson got to 200 for Albany High. Weird. Just crazy. And then, as if we didn't have enough Section 2 talent at Hartwick already, and going to Hartwick with Jessica Bowens having committed a few months ago, now her teammate Callie Richards and Meg Paul from Catholic Central have also committed to Hartwick. So a lot of Section 2 talent moving on up and doing their thing. So congrats to everyone on their accomplishments, and congrats to Meg and Callie on their college decisions. And it'll be nice to see them ball out at Hartwick. And when they come visit Sage down in Albany, good excuse to have family members get out and go catch some D3 college ball. That being said, that wraps up part 2 of episode 44 of 84 Feet with Cady and Cap. I got that right. X, Twitter, I call it Twitter still, whatever. At 84 Feet Podcast. Also on Facebook, just search for 84 Feet with Cady and Cap. And yeah, that's the socials. Spotify, like the show, leave a review, preferably 5 stars. That'd be great. If you're watching / listening on YouTube, like the show, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell so you know when new episodes drop every single week or in season twice a week. But yeah, that's it. That'll do it. And got a busy weekend coming up for yours truly, as I'll be announcing FM college games and WAC Cup high school games throughout the weekend. So got to rest the voice for the next few days. Got to do what I got to do. Also, if you're going to be at Colony when they host Averill Park Friday night for senior night, I'll see you there. In the meantime, enjoy your week, and happy Valentine's Day to all the lovers. Goodbye.